My favorite actors show up with a plan. They have an instrument that I can tweak a little bit when we're doing it, but most of it is that they get the story. They're storytellers.
So we're sitting down today with Bobby Roth. It's too much to say legendary director.
Yeah,
I think that's
don't
okay to say. I think it's okay to say. 45 years directing in the business, with some credits from Lost, Grey's Anatomy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, and many, many others. So thanks for sitting down with us today. So working on set with some actors. You've worked with a lot of the greats. What makes a great actor?
For me, it's a craft. So the ability to show up and do it over and over, to be surprising, to have the mind to think through your character so that you're making choices, and then you also have an instrument that you can, move it.
I know there's some directors that like to rehearse with actors even prior to the day of filming. Is that something that you do? Do you rehearse your actors a lot?
I don't like to do it on the day of filming so much. I like to. I've never done a movie where I didn't have a week of rehearsal. And with Heartbreakers, which is one of my best, I had 4 weeks. And we really got to know each other, and I invite the crew to come. And so I think there's so much pressure on everybody when everything's going. Yeah. The lights are up and time is of the essence, that the time you can have before is really valuable.
Do you have any specific instances of an actor that just came in and just nailed it and you were like, oh, this is gold, this is going to be so good to play around with in the edit bay?
Well, the thing is, there's one actor that comes to mind. He's great every take, and I'm not exaggerating, but he's different every take. And he doesn't know what he's done. So there is a burden on you to say, well, that was great, and that was great, and then this one was great. Which one's right?
Right.
And of course, because it's a movie, they're tied to everything else.
I guess you have to be somewhat consistent as you then go to the reverse on the other actor.
But so much has changed the way we shoot now, especially television, that almost every show I've worked on in the last 10 years has had at least 2 cameras and some 3.
Yeah.
And so if the DP is okay with it, there's something great about being able to shoot 2 performances at the same time.
Have you ever had an actor just not fit into the vision? Have you ever got an actor on set and been like, oops?
Yeah, many times.
Really?
Well, especially in television, you don't get to choose everybody that's there. My favorite actors show up with a plan. They have an instrument that I can tweak a little bit when we're doing it, but most of it is that they get the story. They're storytellers. Right. And some actors are just great storytellers.
Any actors ever a little too needy? They ever try to take too much of your attention?
One of the actors that required the most was Donald Sutherland. He really wants to be directed. And he wants feedback on every single take.
Wow.
And he wants precise feedback. And he wants and I loved it because, first of all, I loved him.
Yeah.
And he was so good that you felt like you were part of a great performance. But I would come home at night and I would look like a shell of myself because I gave him so much.
Yeah.
And then he was doing a lot of scenes with Gina Davis on this Commander-in-Chief series. And Gina's not needy, but she wants you. And they had which worked for the show, they had a particular tension that I talk about it in my series, in my documentary, that somebody has to always go first when you're shooting the coverage of a scene.
Yeah.
And usually, depending on where the master is, the person that's in line with the camera on the master goes first. It just makes sense light-wise, and then you turn around to shoot the other person.
Yeah.
Except when you have 2 people who want to go second, and they're both very talented and tall.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a challenge.
You talked about the performance on Lost. You said it was basically just those 2 actors. Can you maybe speak to, with those particular actors, working with them, like what was it that worked so well between the actors?
We had to shoot on one day they go into this haunted cabin, and then they come out. And we just shot the exterior that day because they were in separate places. But all hell breaks loose in the interior, which we're shooting the next day.
Yeah.
So we had to try to guess what happened inside just based on the script. And they were great. I mean, when you look at it, it's flawless. You think that they've just had the experience, they're coming out. But in fact, and I did it several ways to give them a little flexibility because we didn't really know what was going to happen inside.
You didn't know as far as the script, or was there some vagueness in?
No, we knew what was theoretical. The guys in Lost had a particular way of writing. They would say, all hell breaks loose. The lantern breaks, the place catches on fire, jars are flying, and different. But it still was not they didn't get it viscerally because it was all created with movie magic.
Right.
And it was going to be created after they had already made their choice. Mm-hmm. So, how scared should Terry be when he comes out?
Right.
How Michael made the choice to come out sort of catatonic. It turned out to be great, but these were choices that were made without the inside. And good actors are with you.
Thanks a lot for sitting down with us today. We really appreciate it.
This was fun. This was easy.
I think the actors will get a lot out of the experience, and hearing how you work with actors and what that process is can really help them out a lot. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.